Someone recently shared with me that they enjoy seeing our weekly devotions because of the mystery of where I might be recording. Well, today I'm sitting at our church organ. This organ has not been played for a worship service for almost 1 year. We're coming up on the year anniversary of the pandemic closing down churches, not just here in Macon, but all over the nation. Of course, we've moved back to regular in-person worship and have been there for quite a while, but we have not worshiped in the sanctuary for a number of months, and this organ has not been played. Well, the reason I wanted to sit here at the organ today is because we're continuing our series, The Songs from Heaven for the Stuff of Earth. Now, I don't have an ability to play this organ. I have a little bit of an ability to sing and enjoy singing when I can. This devotion is not going to include music in the way that you think and normally receive it. This devotion is going to be all about the Psalms that we're reading. As we journey through the book of Psalms through the season of Lent, I've invited you to read each of these Psalms as a way to hear from heaven. Many of these Psalms were meant to be sung, meant to be used in the acts of worship for the people of Israel and for Christians throughout the centuries. In the last few days, Monday, Tuesday, and today being Wednesday, we have read various Psalms from Psalm 64 all the way through Psalm 72. So for today's devotion, I thought I would take a brief section from one of those Psalms for each day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I'm going to do three really short devotions or devotional thoughts on three particular Psalms. The first one is from Psalm 66, verses 1 through 5. It says, "Shout for joy to God, all the earth. Sing glory to his name. Make his praises glorious. Say to God, how awesome are your deeds. So great is your power that your enemies cringe before you. All the earth bows down to you. They sing praises to you. They sing the praises of your name. Come and see what God has done, his awesome deeds for mankind." There are two really interesting things in these few verses. Psalm 66, verses 1 through 5. The first is an invitation. Shout for joy to God, all the earth. And then the very last verse that I read, verse 5, come, see what God has done. An invitation for all the earth, all God's creation, to sing for joy, but also for you and I, to go and see that creation. One of my favorite things to do is be outside, to be in nature, and particularly through our national parks. Seeing those parks and the beauty that is there is truly remarkable and amazing. I love those journeys of going to these parks and seeing the beauty that God has created and how awesome he is. It makes me think of this psalm, and I hope it is that you can also go and see, maybe not our national parks, but at least in your own backyard, in the beauty of the changing of seasons, the coming of spring, the popping of flowers and the colors bursting forth as they shout to God for joy, a joy that is often bereft in our system, in our lives, and a joy that is often diminished by the sadness around us. I hope you can shout for joy along with the earth as you enjoy creation. The second one I want to read for you is a portion of Psalm 67. This was part of our reading for yesterday, Tuesday, but today I want to share with you verses 1 through 7. May God be gracious to us and bless us and make his face shine on us, so that your ways may be known on earth, your salvation among all the nations. May the peoples praise you. God, may all the peoples praise you. May the nations be glad and sing for joy, for you rule the peoples with equity and guide the nations of the earth. May the peoples praise you, God. May all the peoples praise you. The land yields its harvest. God, our God, blesses us. May God bless us still, so that all the ends of the earth will fear him. There are two words in verse 2 that seem insignificant, but are crucially important, not just to the understanding of this particular psalm, but also to our understanding of how we live life in faith in the church and in organizational leadership. These two words were highlighted to me by a man by the name of Lovett Weems. He used to be the president of St. Paul School of Theology in Kansas City. He has now, for several years, worked in Washington, D.C. at one of our seminaries there, and he runs the Lewis Center on Church Leadership. I was part of a group that he led for several months, and he taught us an exercise called So That. Mind you, in verse 2, it says, "So that your ways may be known to the earth." Throughout the rest of the psalm, it uses a simple word, may. May God be gracious. May the peoples praise. May the nations be glad. May the peoples praise you. May God bless us all, so that God's salvation may be known. I wonder, what is our so that? When we think about our actions and the things we do each day, what do they lead to? What do our actions lead to in glorifying God and bringing people to a relationship with Jesus Christ? This is an important exercise mentally and physically to think about the things we're doing. So that. What is your so that? What are you getting to? What are you trying to have the outcome of your life be? What is your legacy? These are important and deep questions for the church to ask, but also people of faith to ask. What is our so that? We have worship each and every Sunday morning so that people may hear the gospel of Jesus Christ, so that they may begin a relationship with Christ, so that they may transform the world. The so that leads to more and more, and ultimately leads to a life that is changed and transformed, and as Psalm 67 would share, would change the trajectory and show the salvation and the goodness of God. The final remark that I'd like to give for you comes from one of today's reading in Psalm 71. I'm going to read verses 9 through 14. "Do not cast me away when I am old. Do not forsake me when my strength is gone. For my enemies speak against me. Those who wait to kill me conspire together. They say, 'God has forsaken him. Pursue him and seize him, for no one will rescue him.' Do not be far from me, my God. Come quickly, God, to help me. May my ancestors perish in shame. May those who want to harm me be covered with scorn and disgrace. As for me, I will always have hope. I will praise you more and more." This psalm, like many in this particular section of Psalms, is a cry to God to be with the psalmist as he feels oppressed by his enemies coming in at him, wanting to kill him. And certainly we probably do not have these kinds of enemies that are seeking to take our life, but we certainly have those situations and people who tend to want to hurt us, or we feel like they do. And so we empathize with the psalmist. But his last line here in verse 14 really spoke to me. It jumped off the page. "As for me, I will have hope. I will cling to the Lord." My friends, I believe that there is always hope. Even in the darkest of hours, even in the most disappointing of times, there is always hope. And it is my prayer and my hope for you today that you will choose hope, and you will choose to cling to that hope no matter what. I encourage you to continue to journey with us each and every day, reading the book of Psalms. We read 4 Psalms on Thursdays and on Sundays, and 3 Psalms every other day of the week. And I invite you either to pick up where we're at, or just to kind of pick up the Psalms and begin reading and catch up with us as we continue through this wonderful book. And I know you will be inspired and know that God will continue to use these words to transform and change your life. And I hope you will join us on Sunday as well as we reflect on another one of these great Psalms. God bless you and have a great day.